Angela from the blog AngelaMarieMade.com. I'm excited to show you how to build a DIY vertical plant stand. I built this planter a few years ago for the first time in our previous home, and I designed it to add both pretty flowers to our backyard as well as some privacy between our yard and our neighbor's backyard. I think it's super cute how it turned out. Recently, I rebuilt the planter so I can make this video tutorial showing how to build it. We've used this planter in our backyard at our last home, and in our current home, we have it under our covered porch. It's perfect for flowers in the spring or summer. You could also do herbs, and you can do mums in the fall, little Christmas pine trees in the winter time, or you could do real or faux plants in it year-round inside or on a back porch. There are so many options that you can do with this vertical plant stand. For this build, I used cedar wood because the planter is going to be outside at times, and cedar is a naturally weather-resistant wood, so it's one of the best woods to use. I have a full tutorial build plan linked below in the description box as well as the material list. Alright, let's get started with this DIY plant stand. Step 1 is to make your lumber cuts. You can get a full cut list in my blog tutorial, which is linked below in the description box. You're going to start by making your 2x2 cuts and then your 1x8 cedar board cuts. For the 1x8 cedar board, you're going to cut 7 pieces at 13 inches long. Step 2 is to add pocket holes to your boards. Make sure the depth of the Craig jig is set for 3/4 inch thick wood. For each of the 7 1x8 pieces, add 2 pocket holes on each side of the board for a total of 4 pocket holes using a Craig jig. Add a pocket hole to each end of the two 13-inch 2x2 pieces, and then add 2 pocket holes to just one end of the 2 longer 2x2 pieces for your sides. For the 2x2s, make sure to set the depth of your Craig jig for 1.5 inch thick wood. Step 3 is to stain and spray paint or paint your wood. At this point, it's easiest to go ahead and stain your 1x8 boards and to paint or spray paint your 2x2 boards. I stained 2 coats of stain on the 1x8 cedar boards using English Chestnut by Minwax. While my stain was drying, I primed all sides and edges of my 2x2 boards since they are going to be outside and I didn't want any exposed wood. Also, I made sure to use a high quality exterior primer. I'll link the exact primer I used below. After the primer dried, I spray painted all sides and edges of my 2x2s with an exterior white spray paint. Also, at this point, I spray painted my flower pots white as well since I wanted them to be white instead of orange. After everything is dried, begin attaching your planter stand frame together. Begin by attaching one of the 13-inch pieces to the top of one of the longer side pieces with 2.5 inch Craig screws and a drill. Next, begin attaching the 1x8 pieces to the planter frame with 1.25 inch Craig screws. To easily attach the 1x8s and make sure that the backs of them were flush with the back of the planter frame, I used scrap 1x2s under them as I attached each one. Continue adding all 7 of the 1x8 pieces to the planter stand frame. 5 is to attach the base pieces to the bottom of the planter stand. Under the last 1x8 cedar board, attach the second 13-inch 2x2 piece to the planter stand frame. Finally, add the last 2x2 short pieces perpendicularly to the base of the planter stand using 2.5-inch Kreg screws. Make sure that they're centered when you're adding them. The last step is to add the wall planter hooks to your plant stand. I'll link below the exact planter hooks that I used. I began by lining them up exactly where I wanted them on the planter. I did them on every other board and made sure that they were centered on the boards. Once I had the location of where I wanted them, I marked in the holes with a pencil where to drill pilot holes. Then I drilled the pilot holes and installed the planters with the provided screws. I did notice that the screws that came with my planter hooks were 1 inch long and my cedar wood is only 3/4 inch thick, so they do stick out a tiny bit in the back. I think next time I would buy new screws to go with these hooks instead of the ones that came with them. Now your DIY plant stand is complete and it's time to add your flower pots with your beautiful flowers or plants. Also, if the planter is going to be in an area with high winds, it should be secured from the back to something more secure to ensure that it doesn't blow over from the high winds. I think our plant stand is just darling. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below and let me know what you would plant in your planter stand. Thanks again for stopping by, and please subscribe to my channel for more fun DIY and decor videos.